Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo 6 No Money Challenge. If you haven't watched the first episode, I recommend you watch that before watching this one. Anyways, I welcome you back to the world of Gran Turismo 6. After completing the National B license, I had no idea what to do next, besides grinding out all the events my cars are eligible for. So I asked the GT6 god himself what to do, and he told me to get a Nissan GTR from the Sierra Time Rally. So I spent 6 hours updating the game with my Wi-Fi, and I'm gonna be real with you guys, I don't have the energy to download them all in one sitting. While in the meantime, I'm gonna go unlock the National A-Class events, which requires 20 stars by completing 3 events. And now that I have other cars in my garage, I can finally stop using this piece of shit. Anyways, let's go do Freshman Cup. The first race is at Tsukuba Circuit. So let's see how I do. The first corner came around and it went okay. This small straight came along and I managed to overtake the Nissan Primera. This braking zone came around and it went smoothly. But sadly, no overtakes. The next braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the 240Z, along with the SIR2 Civic next to it. This section of the track came around and I managed to catch up to the Celica and overtake it. And then it took me a bit of time to catch up to the Lancia Delta, but once I did, it was very easy to overtake it. The AI in this game are so slow that I had no problem with keeping my lead and taking home the victory, and earning 3 stars for coming in first place. The second race is at Silverstone Stowe Circuit. The first braking zone came around and I overtook the 147 right off the bat. The next braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the ugly Mazda Lantis. Like your car looks any better. Anyways, this set of corners came around and it went okay, but unfortunately, no overtakes. That is, until I got to the next braking zone and overtook the 2002 Turbo. I broke way later than the AI on this section, which allowed me to catch up to the Alfa Romeo Spider and overtake it. And then the rest of the race was dedicated to me trying to catch up to the Honda Prelude. This section of the track came around and I used the cornering strategy to try to catch up to the Prelude, which worked, allowing me to overtake it on the next corner. And after that, I had no problem with taking home the victory and earning 3 stars. The third and the final race is at Clubman Stage Route 5. Which is another track that features tricky corners. I tried to overtake the S15 Silvia on the long corner but failed. And then I tried again and succeeded this time. And then I managed to overtake the 93 Civic on the next corner. This twisty section came around and it went okay, but unfortunately there was no overtaking opportunities for me. But then I overtook the 98 Civic 5 seconds later. The second lap started and I managed to overtake the front-wheel drive Celica on the long corner. And then after that, I easily beat the 2004 Honda Civic using the cornering strategy. I've noticed that once you overtake the AI in this game, they become a minor inconvenience. Either way, I won the race and earned 3 stars. And yeah, that's Freshman Cup. Completing this event allowed me to unlock the mission races, which are a GT6 equivalent of driving missions. But I'm not gonna do them due to how much effort it takes to get gold on them. I'm gonna do 400 performance points Clubman Cup instead. The first race is at Silverstone National Circuit. So let's see how I do. The first corner came around and I managed to overtake the FR Skyline with ease. The braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the 5 Turbo and the Clio with no problem. I tried to overtake the Alfa Romeo Spider on the next braking zone, but ended up crashing into it instead. And then I tried to overtake it again and succeeded this time. And then I started to worry about whether or not I had enough time to catch up to the Integra. On the next lap, I didn't brake on this corner, which allowed me to catch up to the Integra and overtake it. The AI were so slow that taking home the victory was anything but difficult. And I've earned my well-deserved 3 stars. The second race is at Rome Circuit. The first braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the Celica ST185. And then I overtook this 240Z. The next corner came around and I managed to beat the 2002 Turbo. This section of the track came around and I managed to overtake the Civic Type R. Luckily, it didn't blast my ears this time. I used the cornering strategy on this section, which allowed me to catch up to the Lancia Delta and overtake it for the second time. I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end. You already know the drill, so moving on. The third and the final race is at Autumn Ring. I tried to catch up and overtake the Mazda Roadster but failed. And then I tried to overtake it again and succeeded this time. And then I managed to catch up to the Atenza and overtake it using some clean racing. The next corner came around and... God damn it, did the Delta guy not learn his lesson already? The next corner came around and I cleared it with not too much difficulty. And then it took me a while to catch up to the Acuras. These sets of corners came around and I managed to catch up to the RSX and overtake it using the cornering strategy. And then I tried to catch up to the Integra on the braking zone, but that wasn't enough. And then I tried to catch up to the Integra using some clean racing, and that actually worked. And then I just cruised to the finish line and took home the victory with no problem. And I've earned my 3 stars. And yeah, that's 400 PP Clubman Cup. Completing this event allowed me to unlock coffee breaks. This is giving me PTSD, but not in a good way. I also forgot to record this, but I can now take part in the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Anyways, let's go do city trials to get the remaining stars we need. The first race is at Madrid. So let's see how I do. The first braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the S2000 with no problem. The next braking zone came around and I easily overtook the Solstice concept car. And then I overtook the classic Supra on the next corner. And then it took me a bit of time to overtake the Camaro. I tried to overtake the Camaro on this braking zone, but that wasn't enough. Then I tried to overtake it again on this sharp corner, but that still wasn't enough. It also didn't help with the fact that the Camaro kept pulling away from me. But then I finally managed to catch up and overtake it on this double braking zone. And then I tried to overtake the Legacy but failed. I tried again on the next braking zone and succeeded this time. And the rest of the race pretty much went as you would expect it to go. Now, I know that I already have enough stars, but I'm still gonna do the remaining 2 races for fun. The second race is at Tokyo Route 246. The first corner came around and I managed to overtake the Not Skyline. I tried to overtake the MX Cross Sport on the next corner, but that wasn't enough. And then I tried again on the long corner and succeeded this time. And then I managed to beat a V8 Mustang. Let's just say it took me a long while to catch up to the Camaro and the NSX. But once I did catch up, it was very easy to overtake the Camaro. And then it took me a whole nother lap to catch up to the NSX. This high-speed section came around and I managed to overtake the NSX with no problem. And even though the NSX was fast, it still didn't stop me from crossing the finish line and winning this race. The third and the final race is at London Circuit. The first corner came around and I managed to overtake the Camaro concept car. The twisty section came around and I managed to clear it with not too much difficulty. And then I managed to easily overtake the Golf R32. This sharp corner came around and I managed to overtake the Brera with no problem. At that moment, I was starting to get nervous whether or not I had enough time to overtake the Infiniti and the RX-7. But then I managed to overtake the Infiniti 10 seconds later. I used the twisty section to try to catch up to the RX-7, but that didn't really go as planned. I did the same thing on this long corner, but that didn't really do anything. You know what they say, third time's a charm. I tried to overtake it again on this sharp corner and succeeded this time. And then I just cruised to the finish line and won the race. There's not much else to say other than the fact that the amount of credits I can't use is starting to get really tempting now. And yeah, that's City Trials. And then after that, I went to do the National A license, and this is how it went. So I successfully completed the National A license, and now I can take part in the National A class events. And also earning 2 prize cards. One for completing the license, and one for getting all gold on the license tests. And if you're wondering, here's all the cards I have so far. Definitely a lot more than last time, but still not a lot. Only if there was a faster way to progress through the game, besides grinding out all the events my cards are eligible for. But now that I think about it, maybe there is a way.